People of the internet! Welcome back to another video. It is I, Don Thomas, back in here with another one. As always, folks, the likes, the comments, the subscribes are all greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for the support on this channel. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's topic, folks. Got a video pulled up here. It comes from ABC News, in which they entitled the video, 2 Chinese nationals charged with smuggling dangerous fungus into the United States. Folks, in another video I just spoke, of course, you guys may be familiar as well, too, of Trump recently announcing travel bans on certain countries due to terroristic acts and things of that nature. I don't think this country, of course, we'll get some insight from this video as well, too. I don't think this country in particular was listed on that list of the travel ban, but Trump has already been doing things of travel bans from other countries. There's things that have been happening within the United States as well, too, that have terroristic tendencies, I guess you could say as well, too. I want to get some insight from this video. I'll share my thoughts. I encourage you guys to share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let's get into it.
I'm going to turn now to the case of 2 Chinese researchers charged with smuggling what's considered to be a potential weapon for agro-terrorism into the U.S., and that prosecutors say could target the nation's food supply. Our Chief Justice Correspondent, Pierre Thomas, has this story for us. Good morning, Pierre.
Michael, good morning. We're talking about a fungus which DOJ is calling a potential bioterror threat. Take a look at it under the microscope. This is Fusarium graminearum, and it causes billions of dollars in crop damage each year. A pathogen that rots wheat, barley, and rice, and if consumed by humans can cause vomiting, liver damage, and birth defects. This morning, 2 researchers from China are accused of trying to smuggle it into the U.S. to take it to a lab at the University of Michigan. Authorities claim that in July of last year, they allegedly caught a scientist from China with the fungus hidden in a wad of tissues in his backpack at the Detroit airport. Authorities say the scientist initially lied, claiming he was coming to America to visit his girlfriend and that he had no idea how the material got into his luggage. But later, he allegedly admitted he smuggled the fungus into the U.S. to conduct research on it with his girlfriend, who was a visiting fellow at the University of Michigan, Michael.
Well, Pierre, has the University of Michigan responded to any of this?
Well, they're telling us that they're cooperating with the investigation, and they condemned any activity that could harm the public or damage national security, Michael.
All right, Pierre, as always, thank you.
There you heard it, folks. A fungus capable of dismantling the food supply has negative effects towards the human body, may cause vomiting, things of that nature. It was attempted to be smuggled into the U.S. by Chinese nationals, which of course is a terroristic threat, folks. As again, I was speaking earlier, you guys may be aware at the time I recorded this video, Trump has just announced that there was a travel ban that he set on specific countries that was banning access from these countries into the United States. I don't believe that country made the list, of course, but of course news like this is maybe why Trump felt that, you know, we should start bunkering down on the people that are coming in and out of this country, this and that, things of that nature. So folks, I don't know, man. It's kind of scary. Again, the food we eat, we go to the grocery stores, and a lot of the times we feel like we have, you know, what we're purchasing. We never really know the process of what it took to get on the shelves, and then from the shelves to the grocery stores and into our homes and on our dinner tables, or whatever the case is. It's always a process. I always take into consideration that the food that we eat and things of that nature always goes through a process before it gets to our dinner tables, right? But not knowing its origins, not knowing the intent behind a lot of these things, man. A lot of these things you're always hearing about E. coli breakouts and recalls on certain products that you can't eat for things just like this, fungus and this, that, and the other. But speculating that this was done intentionally, folks, to cause havoc to the agricultural system or just the food supply, whatever the case is. Again, I always say that once we start labeling specific people, oh, this was the Chinese or this was the Muslims, whatever the case, I think that just only, you know, raises the acts of discrimination and racism that is already prevalent here in this country. It makes people a little bit leery of, you know, friends and colleagues and coworkers who maybe originate from these countries as well, too. I can see how one could feel at ease or unease, I guess you could say, finding out that, you know, people of these nationalities, whatever the cases, have ill intent towards us here in America. So, very interesting. Of course, these are just cautionary tales for all of us to take into consideration, folks. Of course, on this channel, I like to speak about philosophy, self-improvement, and the culture. I want us to be aware of certain things that are happening in the world as a cautionary tale for us to be able to move accordingly, right? The intentions of people, of course, in this world as well, too, are not always the purest as well. Unfortunately, right now, of course, you do know we live in some troubling times, and tensions are on high, I guess you could say as well, too, in terms of just the stability of our economy, the stability of our country, and things of that nature. So, very alarming tale. Of course, this is posted by ABC News. I believe this took place a few days ago. Of course, they posted this maybe just a day ago on their channel here as well. But of course, it's alarming, folks. It just kind of shows you the things that we should take into consideration. Again, of course, it says here 2 Chinese nationals have been charged with allegedly smuggling into the United States a fungus called Fusarium graminearum, forgive me, which is considered to be a potential weapon for agro-terrorism. Again, agro-terrorism, agriculture, things of that nature. So things to be aware of, things to take into consideration, things to spread awareness on is what I'm about here on this platform. Those are my thoughts. I encourage you guys to share your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, the likes, the comments, and subscribes are all greatly appreciated. I will catch you guys on the next one.